And so I just thought to come out here to have like a conversation with those that are online about personal finance. And I wanted to just quickly answer a question that feels like has been bothering me. Yeah, and I think a lot of people would have asked themselves that question too once or twice. And it goes like, is it worth it? Is personal finance, taking your personal finance seriously, is it really worth it? Learning about personal finance, is it really worth it? And the answer to that question, in my opinion, is yes. So I'm going to answer that question with my own story and why it is worth it. So personal finance is more of you trying to take charge of your finances, about money that comes into your hands and money that goes out. So before I started taking note of my personal finance, trying to understand it and getting better with it, I made a few mistakes. Went to I made a few mistakes here. Those I'm not proud of and all of that. I was spending money anyhow. I invested in things that I shouldn't have invested in. If only I had just taken a while to understand. I had multiple streams of income, like several jobs, but I wasn't making good use of it. So I can remember like in 2020, 2019, 2018, from let's say from 2016 to 2020, I had multiple jobs, I had multiple streams of income. I just did not take note of it. I just didn't practice as much as I should have. Yeah, I just didn't practice as much as I should have when it came to personal finance and how I was handling my money. So this is why I feel like yes, personal finance is worth it. If you ask me, I would say personal finance is actually worth it. It's worth every single bit of it. And when it comes to personal finance, there are like 5 6 paces that people usually will talk about, starting from your income to your spending or your expenses to budgeting to saving, investing, and then most importantly, protection. I definitely did not take note of protection because obviously I wasn't using this framework as at that time. So just imagine that I had 2 jobs at a particular point in time. Let's say in 2015, I had 2 stable jobs, or let's say 2016, early 2016, I had two jobs. And guess what? The money I was earning from these jobs, the only thing I did was pay my bills, and I saved that money. And later that year, I went on to invest without doing my due diligence. Just imagine, after saving for so long, over a year, 2 years, and losing all the money to investment that were not true, that were not proper, because the only thing I did not do was do my due diligence and ask some questions. So when it comes to personal finance, you really need to understand these 5 aspects. So when it comes to your income now, how are you earning money? Where do you get money from? Are you just doing only one job? Do you have a side hustle? Do you have multiple streams of income? Do you have passive income? That's money that you're necessarily not working for, but you get to earn because you have done the work in the past. You need to answer those questions for yourself. When you're done with that aspect of personal finance, you now need to evaluate your spending. It's really, really important to evaluate your spending. The reason why I said it's important to evaluate your spending is because money is finite. Money will finish. It comes in and it goes out. It is quantifiable. We know that, okay, $100,000 is $100,000. We know that 100,000 naira is 100,000 naira. It is measurable. If you remove 1 naira, it reduces to 99999. You know that is how it works. So if you're spending and you keep spending, even though we know that this is the amount of money that you get from your income, you do not take note of that. You do not measure it. It's going to finish. So when it comes to spending, let us look at spending from 2 parts. So there's a point where you really need to spend, which has to do with your bills and things that you cannot live it out. Of course, I had to eat, I had to pay transportation, I had all of these things in place. And there's a part where you now spend just to satisfy yourself in the sense that, okay, I want to go out for drinks, I want to treat myself to take out, I want to go out to the beach, I want to go and see a movie. That is another part. But there's another part where we don't really take note of that. Even though you want to treat yourself after you've taken care of most of the important bills that you have, you also need to find balance. Balance in the sense that if you are spending so much on your wants rather than your needs without putting into consideration that, okay, I want to save, I want to invest, you might end up just spending all of that money just like that. You might just end up spending that money just like that, and you, at the end or before the end of the month, before your next income comes in, you really cannot tell that, okay, this is what I used my money for. Or let's say you are very, very comfortable, your income is enough to sort out whatever you want to spend money on and do with your money. At the end of the day, let's say 5 years down the line, after doing your job, side hustle, business, whatever you're doing to get your income, what exactly are you going to use to quantify that this is what I spent my money on? Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you're following through. So you now need to know that, okay, at some point in time, it seems like I'm spending too much money on things. And it feels like I'm spending too much money on things that I can do without. It feels like I'm spending too much money on luxurious things. I'm not prioritizing my needs. I'm not prioritizing my expenses that I cannot do without. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. So that is what I'm trying to talk about for spending. So when it comes to personal finance, you need to ask yourself some good questions. You need to ask yourself questions that are going to help you to make the right decisions, to make the right choices. And if you are lost and you don't know how to ask yourself these questions, I can help you out. Just reach out to me. I can always help you out to evaluate your finances. So after we look at spending, remember I mentioned like 5 things. So the next thing I want us to look at, because the initial question was, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And I think it's worth it because of my personal experience. So the next thing you want to look at is budgeting. Budgeting helps you to tell your money where to go to. It helps you to share your resources accordingly in the ways that matter the most. So for you, it might be that saving is what matters the most to you. For you, it might be investing. For you, it might be just getting yourself luxurious things. Another thing for you is that you might just be trying to pay your bills. All of these things matter, but the beautiful thing is that when it comes to money, it is personal to everybody. It is not the same thing that happens over and over again for everybody. So you have to just make up your mind that, okay, I want to speak with a professional, an expert, and figure out what works for me. And after I'm done with that, I can go ahead to continue rinsing and repeating. So budgeting is actually just telling your money where to go, and there are a whole lot of things that are entailed in budgeting, but since this is just a short conversation, we're going to look at it yet another time. So another thing that we look at is saving. Saving is one thing that everybody always talks about. You need to save, you don't need to save, blah blah blah. Yes, like I said before, personal finance is personal. So for you, for me now, I might feel like, okay, no, I don't want to save money. And for you, it might be that, okay, at this point in time, you want to start saving money because you have a goal, or you are planning towards an emergency so that you don't get caught unawares. And there are different reasons why you should save. So there's the single fund and there's the emergency fund. Whichever one works for you, you can actually go ahead to do that and make sure that at the end of the day you are fine. So saving is more or less just keeping money away for whatever reason that suits you best. Yes, it has to be about you. It's not about me. So for me, when I started, I was saving like up to 50% of my income. Yeah, the only thing I was removing out of my income was my major bills, which were transportation and feeding. Yeah, so that was the only thing I was removing from my income when I was earning it, because I needed to get to my job station and I needed to buy stuff on the way, or I needed to eat during the day while I was at work. That was the only thing I had need for, and those were my most important bills. So when I saved that much, I went to the next stage. After saving for so long, I went to the next stage when I thought I was ready, which was investing. Investing is sending your money on an errand to go and bring more money for you. So these are not actual definitions of investing, but these are the easiest way to explain these terms to you so that you can understand it. And then when you're ready to now walk into it, you can now look at the jargons and all of that. But basically, that this is just what it is. No need to go and start reading, but by the time you're reading up a definition, you're looking for a dictionary to break it down for you. Don't stress yourself. So so yes, so investing is more like sending your money to go and get more money. So what I did then was just, I had someone introduce me to this investment stuff, and the person just said, it's bringing in so and so percent. Then me, Gullible me, I went ahead and deposited my money there without doing any due diligence, asking questions as to what this money was going to do, how is it going to help me, how is this money going to come back to me, what was this company about, how are they making their money, what are their financials, how am I sure that this return is real, is it feasible, is like all those questions about investing you need to ask yourself. So you might need to hire a specialist or an expert to help you understand some investment before going into them. So you can always reach out to me if you need any help on that. But either ways, that's the next thing to do. Sending your money on errands. So there are so many ways to invest. There are a gazillion ways to invest. So you might just want to choose between stocks and shares. You might want to choose between commodities, ETFs, mutual funds, whichever works for you, whichever you understand best. Make sure that you understand what you're doing. Make sure that you understand your risk appetite, because usually in investing, they'll say the higher the risk, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. So you want to understand if you're ready to let go of all of your money just like that, so that you can get a higher return. Or you're not really willing to lose any money at all, but you are fine with the barest minimum returns on that's the interest that they're going to offer you. So you need to ask yourself these questions. You need to be sure of what you're doing. Another thing to do is to protect. Protection is like the last part of it, and protection includes insurance and just being sure of what you're doing. So insurance is a point where you're actually paying a fee to an insurance company to ensure that whatever happens, probably life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, whatever happens, you don't have to pay the full bill if you run into any trouble. So it's more like just depositing a minute amount of money so that you don't have to bear the full cost whenever that you run into trouble. Another part of protection is whereby you make sure that whatever investment that you're doing, whatever savings that you're doing are safe and they are licensed. That's whatever platform you're going to be using, you are licensed with the right licensees at the particular country or region where you are. You make sure that they are all good and they are all safe. So basically, is personal finance worth it? From this my little explanation that I've just done, I can tell you that it is really, really worth it. You need to have proper information. You need to have proper knowledge and understanding of all of these things before venturing into them. I hope that this has helped you. And if you'd like to have more conversations with me, or you want me to do more videos on a particular topic here is not exactly clear, please leave a comment below and I'm going to do that video. But if you would like to do a consultation with me on a particular topic, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to be giving a link where you can actually reach out to me and we're good to go. So thank you for joining this live stream, or rather thank you for watching the recording if you're watching the recording later on, and I'm going to be seeing you soon when I upload a new video. Hi, the person that just joined. Hi, can you leave a comment so I know who exactly joined? I'm about to log off now, so just say hi to me, please. Yeah, so while I wait for that comment to show, this is basically just the end. So I'd always say, and always will say, that it is worth it. Personal finance is worth it. It is actually very important for you to understand where your money goes, how it goes, where it comes from, where it is going to, why it is going to, where it is going to. There are questions like that, basically. So bye for now.